Here we are, started up again. Okay. Hopefully that's good. Church in the round again.
Yes.
Only one person knows how not to work it now.
All right. An oval, okay, okay. And I lost my page.
I'm gonna do it down a key.
In this intimate setting, there we go.
5:42.
Yeah, I had it and then
I
lost
know,
it.
then you moved the mic and it looked closed.
You are just too observant. I wish I were half as observant as you are. Okay. So, welcome to our circle here, or our oval.
Or our service.
Our service.
Our service.
We'll start out with O Come, O Come, Emmanuel.
church it quite as much anymore. What was that? And we had people like young Seth with us, who would read part of it and understand parts of it, and wouldn't understand others. And what did that look like? Well, we're going to give that a shot today. We had a letter, or part of a letter last week, right?
Letter James.
Part of a letter that was, again, different. When are we going to get stuff that's the same? Well, we're not. And that's part of the point. Unfortunately, in the future, we're going to get stuff that starts to look a lot the same. It's not quite the way Jesus wanted it. There was a bit here and there that he was, I mean, in his absence, we did not serve food to those who, were, that happened to look like it served other gods, right? Food that was bloody. Let's get rid of the blood. Let's just clean it up a little bit so that, people they're really confusing us a lot, right? Our new church, okay? We're doing a lot of things with Jesus and everything, but it's being misconstrued. We're eating every day. That's pretty big. We didn't do that a lot. Rich people did, but poor people kind of did. It was the church's job to make sure that poor people could. Problem was what? What wasn't being done quite as much?
They were treating the eating as if it was just the eating, rather than, some people were, rather than a communion, and coming and eating and getting drunk for the rest of everybody,
And not sharing.
and not sharing.
Right.
That was a big problem.
They would bring the steak and somebody else wouldn't even have hamburger, right, or hot dogs.
I mean, the Jews would come up, you'd have all kinds of really good brisket and stuff, right? So, I mean, that was good food. Poor people? Not so much. So you're eating what? Chipped beef on toast? And it used to be, you used to eat pretty good. And that's going away. Why is that? Well, because people are eating what they had. Well, this Jesus looks like a real cheeseburger. I don't want a cheeseburger. Right?
Yeah,
I want a brisket. Well, Jesus said no. What do you do with it?
Time to change your ways.
All right, let's not serve the, look, let's not make stuff bloody anymore. Let's make halfway decent stuff. Let's eat it the way we're supposed to eat it. Let's not have people getting drunk and everything anymore. And so the first church is starting to look a little bit, I don't know, what, more palatable? Is that the way of putting it? Can you deal with the new church now? The way it's situated, the way we're sitting. Can you deal with that? And you're starting to get letters with these people. Who are these people? Well, we know who James was. Who was that?
Brother Jesus.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good news. Who is this Peter? I have no idea who Peter is. I've never heard of him. Who is this Paul? Have you ever heard of Paul? Did you hear of him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Where?
throwing all the Christians in jail.
Scary guy.
Yeah, he's not a good guy. He's not a hero in any stretch of the imagination. I want to be as far away from Paul as I could possibly be. I don't want any letters from Paul telling me how to behave. That guy obviously doesn't know how to behave. He's in jail every other 2 weeks. So what the hell am I doing listening to him for? Or reading his letters in somebody's living room? No. Like him, I'm going fishing. That I much know. That I do know. Right?
was throwing everybody in jail. Now he's the one getting thrown in jail
Right, right.
for preaching.
Well, that's Paul, yeah. This Peter, who was that idiot? Right?
One of Jesus' disciples, former disciples.
He's a disciple, yeah, but he's kinda stupid, isn't he?
Well, the people in the new church would know, yeah.
He was a blockhead, somebody told me once.
Who's the what?
He was a blockhead,
Yeah,
somebody.
But until he was filled with the Holy Spirit,
A lot of people are getting healed. by
and
him.
then he had some decent things to say.
he's doing some really, yeah. If you know of him at all, you're doing some real changing. Well, what is this looking like as opposed to what you used to do? If you went to church back then,
Or temple, right?
or temple
Right.
back then.
Oh, okay, so the letter we're talking about is basically addressed to the Jewish Christians that are scattered, so they would have been going to
Scattered.
synagogue
Yeah, let's, you
if they
take
had them.
the book of James, that we consider the book, right? Seth considers it the book. This is the book of James, the book of Acts, excuse me. No, the letter, but it's essentially the book. When we read James now, we read it as a book, okay? We look at it as a book. We look at it through the prism of our church, our century church. We're supposed to, right? We're not supposed to look at it like the first century. But I want us to look at it like that for a while to try to get an idea how it might have worked. Because we don't have any idea how it might have worked. Other than that. And if you don't have an idea how that might have worked, I'm afraid you're at a loss. Because somebody's going to ask you precisely about that. How did that used to work? Not very well, is your answer. And they're going to scratch their heads some more, and that's going to be all the more fun for you. Believe me, it is. Don't pretend you have all the answers. You don't have any of them. And in fact, the answers you do have, most of them are wrong. Except for Dave. When you put yourself in that first church, that you got the letter of James, that it's being read by the person who kind of knows how it reads. What is it that's making it a book for you now, as opposed to a person who's just hearing this for the first time? I mean, can you sit in that chair and talk about it a little bit, or not?
You want me to sit up there
Yeah,
and talk about why
Yeah,
you
just-
called it a book?
yeah, just tell them just like a person.
Nothing like putting you on the spot there.
I don't mean to be putting you on the spot, I really don't.
Yes, he does.
Not really. And I'll come to your rescue whenever you want me to come up.
Well, that was
Okay?
nice.
I look at it.
Okay,
as-
speak up and use the microphone stand, that's what it's for.
Pull it in front of you. Up your mouth.
Pop it up, there you go. Don't, like other Baptists, sit there right by the mic stand and not use it.
Hello.
There you go.
There, yay.
Wow, look at that.
I look at the letters in the New Testament as if they are letters, but I call them books because they're also called books of the Bible. We call them books of the Bible. It's a categorization tool, something like that. And that's pretty much it. But I do recognize that that it was originally a letter. When I look at each book, I want to understand what type of writing it is. Even within a letter, there might be subcategories. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
When you say subcategory, what do you mean by the subcategories within a letter?
What kind of letter are you writing? Is it a letter of rebuke? Is it a letter of, what's it? exhortation?
Exhortation.
Exhortation,
Encouragement.
encouragement? Is it a letter of, this happened to me, I'm just trying to tell you what's happening? Or, you know, just some instruction? It might be all of those things. It might be only one of those things. So, I mean, that's, with any book of the Bible, as like I said, it's a categorization tool that we use to just try to explain what we're looking at. I don't know, they're different sub-compartments of the book that we call the Bible, which was a whole bunch of different, it's a library, like Pastor has said, he's holding a library in his hand. So this is 1,500 years worth of writings that have been collected and put together. That's pretty much all I got to say about that.
Very good.
The book is referencing it, right? So
Okay, yeah.
helps you find what the other person's looking for.
The book is a library. The library contains other books. Then we got them in the form of a letter. Okay, but over time, we take a look at that letter as a book. That's a section of, that's in this shelf. I could find that in that shelf. So that's the book I'm looking for, right? It's pretty easy. Other people, Susie, for example, take it a slightly different way. She had kind of a different approach. Now, their dad was a weather person, and there were certain things that you did when you found out about the weather. What's the weather going to be like? Is it going to be sunshiny and snowy and rainy, or is it going to be nice? This weekend looked pretty snowy, but apparently not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I didn't apparently have their dad's performance record, right?
You don't have them anymore. No.
No.
You don't have him anymore. He's
No.
up and doing the heavenly forecast.
Yeah,
Yep.
but we did. Is that the same? Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. When you used to have a bit of information, and now Jesus is gone, and now we're starting all over in a different church, right? We're starting in each other's group houses. We're eating together. We're partying together. We're doing other things together. What more are we doing together? Everything. What can you do in the last 2 hours that's entertainment that wasn't available then?
Oh, a billion things.
Yeah.
TV, radio,
Yeah.
the
Really?
internet, the,
Yeah.
Driving
Could
a
you go to
car.
plays?
Driving a car. Yeah, they
Well,
walked up and
the
down
last
and over down
2 hours, probably not.
Yeah. They
You're
must,
saying transportation, I mean, like
They
a car, or, being able to go
they
someplace.
walked every place back in
Good.
Darren's days. They used their feet.
Using the toilet.
Or using
Yes.
using a indoor
Potty.
plumbing.
Yeah, indoor plumbing. They
Did
didn't
they-
have that back then.
Did they get together and read?
Yeah. No.
No, they got together and listened to somebody else.
Read. Yes.
And
Oh
then
my
when
God.
certain people,
Yes,
would
we're
learn to
allowed
read.
to read.
And
And
even in the
not
early
a-
days
not
of
a lot of
radio, people used
How?
to gather around a person's
Yes.
radio.
Yes.
Because radios were expensive, so one person, in later years, when the radio first came out, they were so expensive that one family might have a radio, and people would come around and gather around the radio
Yes.
to listen to
You
the.
think of the Waltons, that whole family would gather in their living room and listen to the radio together. As a whole family.
Even communities would come in.
Yes, even communities would have it, yes.
Templeton's had a television. We had Saturday morning cartoons that were in color for the first time ever. I remember being at the Templeton's house and sitting down in the very, very back, because I was taller than the rest of the kids my age. But I'm watching watching color cartoons on the television. That was blowing my mind. That was really unique. And I grew up then. A lot of us went to and watched TV the first time. We had reading. There was reading for years and years and years. What was different about it?
Somebody read it to you. And you didn't have they didn't have their own Bible at home.
Right. That is much different when
Yes.
you're hearing it versus reading it.
Yes.
And they didn't even always have it written down, there was a lot of word of mouth, and the different people.
You're gonna
going
sit
around.
right there and tell people about the word of mouth.
Oh, yes,
Okay?
sure.
All right.
That's all right,
I got
there's
it.
a chair right there.
Yes.
Ta-da, thank you.
I don't like microphones.
Don't worry, Gladys, there's lots of bodies around him, that if you
Yeah.
fell, he'd fall on your body instead of the
Yes.
floor.
Okay, so there was a lot of word of mouth. I was reading.
I don't like microphones.
I don't like microphones, I just use my teacher voice. Anyway, so there was, I was reading this morning from, Romans and Corinthians as they were talking about, and at the beginning and ends of their letters, you know, all the meat stuff was in their letters, but at the beginning and the ends, there was all this stuff about this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and greet this guy, and greet this guy. Like, all the people over here knew of all the people over here, because he was using all of these names. So, they had a system of knowing of one another, and knowing what one another had to say, and so there was a lot of sharing that was just verbal. So it did come down to, let's put some of this stuff in writing, and then, you know, people will have it in perpetuity, not that they were necessarily thinking that then, but that is how it's played out. But in the moment, they were sharing. So, you know this guy, Paul, and you've seen me, I was there, but I'm sending over this guy and this guy and this guy. And the volume of names that he was including in there kind of boggled me, like, was he actually traveling with an entourage, or it was just people they knew about, or other people were going back and forth? And I don't know those answers, but those are the questions that I had just looking at all this. But what I do know is there was a lot of talking back and forth to different people and sharing what they had learned about Christ from listening to Peter and Paul and whoever. Did I check my box?
I was gonna say, in the word of mouth category, this is kind of a sideways, but there was a lot of praying. I was thinking that all these people that he remembered, they were probably all praying for each other a lot. And that's probably why they could remember so many people so easily, because they're used to bringing them up to the Lord, word of mouth.
Yeah. So the whole idea of format, when we all sit down together in where we are, and we have in our mind this, you know, agenda that we need to click through. But what was their agenda? And it was probably a lot more convoluted and a lot longer. They didn't say, oh my goodness, it's 11:15, we gotta get out of here by 12, because, you know, blah, blah, blah. It was so good to be together, and this is what I learned, and this is what this guy told me, and does it seem to fit, and these are wonderful people, not men of God, but people of God, because a lot of women were mentioned as well, and we kind of leave that piece out.
Well, some of us do.
Some of us do. Well, yeah, you stuck me up here on this.
But that was another thing, he said, what's different, and that's a very different thing, because the women were not allowed to be in the temple and hear reading from the Torah and all that. We were not allowed that, so, to have these home gatherings, the women were part of it. I don't know how much talking there was as well, you know, that they were given that, freedom to be able to participate in the conversation, or if they kind of held back a little bit, I don't know that, but, just the fact that they were in the same room with the men, able to be part of that, that was a big thing, yeah.
I can't remember the details of the wording, but the Priscilla and Aquila straightening out somebody or other. Okay, and, I thought it was a different name that I was looking at this morning, so they might have done it more than once. But it was worded like that she and he had ministered to. So it didn't sound like there was any hierarchy there, or, Aquila and his wife. It was, yes.
Seems like at least one of the churches that Paul ended up starting was, it began as a place where the women were going down to, like, the river to pray, something like that.
Lydia, was it Lydia in the purple?
Down to pray, could be.
Yeah.
But there was other
Yeah, there was a couple.
women that were mentioned. Phoebe was mentioned.
Many.
There were. And the list of names that I was seeing this morning, there was also Mary's. There's also always multiple Marys.
Mary was a
John's.
popular name then.
Yeah. What?
John's,
And
too.
John's.
Yes.
John's and, Peter.
Peters was Peter.
In Mexico, it's Maria and Juan.
Paul's too, though, I think.
Lots of.
Paul was, they renamed Paul all the time. There was like 5 different alien names. Saul was one of them. If you were named Paul, you weren't originally named Paul. You could use Simon, maybe.
That was Peter.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Switch.
Thank you, Susie.
Yeah, thank you,
Yes.
Sue.
All right. So, in our get-together, last week, or a couple of weeks ago, I got this letter from this guy named James. Now, I know who James is. I know that he was the brother of Jesus, so I'm gonna pay attention to his letter. What's really interesting about the origin of Jesus is you have his younger mother, and she's still in utero, talking to who? What are they talking about?
Babies?
Babies, yeah.
Huh?
Babies?
And?
The prophecy.
And angels.
Oh, how'd they hear that? Well, thing is, the angel came right to them and said so. They didn't have to hear it in,
The church, or the temple.
they were nowhere near it when they heard it.
No, they were
Where was, excuse me, Joseph, when he heard about the child?
not. He was
Sleeping.
Sleeping!
in his bed.
Was he anywhere near the church?
No,
No.
no,
How did everybody else hear about it?
no.
Well, if you're a third shifter working the sheep, the shepherd thing, you heard about it then. You did. And the angel didn't sweetly suggest that you go to the field and watch the baby, or it said, you will go. Right? He was not making a suggestion. The angel up in the middle of nowhere said, you're gonna go now to where? Where the baby lays, and it's in I'm sorry. The baby you'll find in swaddling clothing, just like the sheeps that you guys do all the time. That baby's dressed like that. Got it. I'm going. Right? I didn't hear it in any church. we have a meet, huh?
I said, or synagogue at the time.
Or synagogue.
Temple.
Or temple, or anything. We have a man that leaves us, lived 35 perfect years. And that man's out of here. And we're told to do something new. What do we do? Well, we got a letter from James, but how long was it that we've been around, eating together? How many other letters have we got? Who did we get them from? What did we do with them? And who did we send them on to?
No idea.
Well, this would have been probably what, the first letter that they got, or
It's the first
an
one.
early letter.
You can make an assumption as long as two things happened that really didn't happen much. One is that the law stayed the way it was, where you were at. What happened about 80 AD? Yeah. You showed me the map. Do you still have that map or no? Oh, no. We saw a dispersion happening, which was really interesting. There we go. Yes, let me have that. I'd have you come up here and do that, but I don't think I can explain it quite well what I would like you to do.
Okay.
Okay? Look at all these little number sevens, okay?
Number 7.
Well, they're actually cliffs and things.
Okay.
But there's little indentations right through here, right? It looks like somebody's sleeping, but there's a number of arrows where people are going. And where are they going away from?
They were going away from the Jerusalem that was being destroyed in 70 AD.
Yeah.
And before that, the letter of Acts records that there was persecution that also scattered the believers.
So David's book of Acts tells us there was persecution all over the place, and there was a lot of the place that we think of Acts not taking place in the book of Acts, but outside. Okay? A lot of these areas, when Paul first set sail, a lot of these areas were the first ones that Paul would hit. Now, normally he would go back to some of these places, but he generally would go also to jail. Because at that time, the politics were taking place and changing the nature of the book of Acts, the church. And what the church would eventually look like, and that was happening all over the place, right? So if you want to, you should get with Amy and check this map with her. This is really, I think this is outstanding.
It's like a timeline, huh?
It is. Acts 2, 9 through 11. Parthians, Medes, Elamites, residents of Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia, and districts, Libya, around Cyrene. She's got them all listed. She's got a lot listed, right?
You just copy and give everybody a copy of it.
You could well have that.
I mean, we don't have to have a scribe do that for us?
That's right. You could have somebody who's not really well read actually produce that for you. And it doesn't have to come from a book. What's the problem with the first church? For just a little while, men seem to be taking a centerpiece because most men know how to read. Whether it's Koine Greek, which was the language of the day, right? Because that was the business language. You might not know how to speak. It's like the lady that used to live across the street from the store, my grandfather's store. I forget her last name, but she had kind of like Italian, a little bit of Italian, just enough to be dangerous, because she didn't know the rest. And she'd come over every day and say, "Hi, Mr. Hogan," and he'd go, "Hi, how you doing?" and she was deaf as a post, and he used to call her all kinds of horrible names, but he'd laugh, right, and look at me, and I'd be like,
Well, she was deaf, she couldn't hear what
She
he was
was,
saying.
yeah, right.
yeah, she couldn't hear what he was saying.
Saying,
But he pulled one over on my father and on me. How's this guy get away with talking with this lady like that? She knew just enough English to be dangerous and Italian to be dangerous. She didn't know either. But she was very nice, and he treated her very nice. But she was dumb as a box of rocks. And she'd come over and she'd want a certain kind of a meat, and he knew precisely what she wanted and gave it to her. And she'd probably, thank you. She didn't know how to ask for it. She would, if there was another store or another person there, she would be what kind of lost. So Grampy taught us what to give this lady when she came over. She eventually died. I think I was like 14 when she passed away. There was a certain kind of butter she liked. It was the margarine, and we got that eventually. But yeah, she didn't like the butter. She liked the margarine. But she was like that. And for her to try to figure any of this out, beyond her.
she'd be lost. She'd be lost.
So she became very uneducated and stayed that way. Well, we're not supposed to be that. Some of us are. And what we do with that person is a whole other thing. That one person that doesn't learn anything, that one person who supposes something was always that way and that's all it's going to be. You're going to have that person. Hopefully, thank God, hopefully they won't be in here with you, but when they show up, what can you do with them? Well, I think Seth's a really good example. And I think Amy's a really good example with the arrows thing. Oh, here's one.
So help guide people and help explain things to them, teach them. Teach.
We take the Holy Spirit out of a lot of what we do. And that's just, I don't know, maybe a third thing we should be taking another look at. And asking the Holy Spirit, what would you have us do? He's sending a letter for us to read in the first church. A letter from the brother of Jesus saying, you know, you're not considering the rich and poor man the same. You're not. Stop it. You need to. And we're going, I don't think I need to. And he's going, I beg to differ. In fact, I command that you are different. And stop being so high on yourself. And start learning. That's hard. I don't like what I'm going through. I'm going through with the stroke. I feel like a prisoner. I'm locked into certain things. I have to learn them. I don't want to, but I do. We are locked in too. We don't want to learn things at our age, but we're going to have to. And Seth is great. Seth is going, well, okay, I've learned this, and I've learned that, and I've learned this, but I'm going to learn some more because and Susie's great because she's going, all this stuff that I know, I still don't know how to read like my father did. Right? And we're getting together and we're eating together, maybe. Or at the very least, we're eating from the book that the Lord gives us, right? We're reaching up on that and taking down that book of James and going, okay, let's open that up and see what it says. And James is saying, all of your faith, all of your bullcrap is garbage when you don't do something to back it up. Period. I wanted not to say that. I wanted to say, you're doing real good, Dave, keep it up. Here's what I'm getting. You're doing really good as far as you know. Let me teach you more. Okay? There's 4 of us here. what would happen in the old church? There'd be a lot more of us. And we wouldn't be quite so old. And we don't have much time left. So let's make hay while the sun shines. Okay? Does that mean lay down and rest? Yeah, unfortunately, but how rest? That's the question. And we gotta talk to God with him about that. How rest? What do I do? What do you want me to do? He'll tell us. The Spirit will tell us. For now, but he gives more grace. Wherefore he says, God resists the proud, but gives grace unto the humble. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw nigh to God, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners. Purify your hearts, you double-minded. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning, and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. That doesn't mean walk around sad all the time. It does mean walk around smart. Right?
Where are you reading from just now?
That's from James chapter 3. See, chapter 4. When we first got the letter, it was not in chapter 4 either.
We're just asking so we can look at it.
Yeah. That's part of the letter that we get in our church, and we got a copy and sent back out soon. So that other churches get it too. Where are we? What time are we when we got this? Probably somewhere between 55 and 97 BC. I'm sorry, 97 AD. But maybe after. We really don't know. Which one of the 12 tribes that James writes this to are we? We may not be any of them. Have we heard it? Oh yeah. What part of the tribe are you? Are you any tribe? Find out. I'll ask you next Sunday. You tell me. You can find out. Huh?
Said you might have to pay money.
You might have to pay money. Okay, if you have to pay money for that, don't do that. Okay? That lets you off the hook. But if you can find out for free, let me know next week. Because I'm going to ask. No shit. I'm going to. Yeah, that's another thing Constantine used to say too. Well, priests don't swear. The heck we don't. We swear all the time. What is this? Who is that? Why this food? Why not that other food? See, we weren't supposed to be priests. And our church wasn't supposed to be named after us. And Jason taught us more than any 17 ministers ever could in 5 minutes. And we just watched him for 5 minutes, and he taught us a whole lot.
So don't all the kids up at Lowe's,
Yeah.
you know, in their own special way. They
And
do.
listen to Kathy for like 20 seconds. Listen to Amy 20 seconds. Listen to anybody for 20 seconds. Listen! Open your mind. And listen. What does the person of God have to ask? Submit yourselves. Okay. Therefore to God. Well, that's a repeat from other I've heard. I think I'm going to stick with that, okay? I'm going to work with that. I'm submitting them. Yeah. Not quite be so angry, but be more, I don't know, humble. But that's what this church is all about. We don't have the answers, but we know who does. Heavenly Father, I thank you for your answers. Help us get them when we need them. Help us ask them when we need to know how to ask. help us not think that it's any light thing. Sometimes it's more important than we think it's going to be. Help us with that. Help us not think we know all of that. Help us understand we don't know much. We can always tell the weather better. Amen.
Then one day is my,
Get out.
tomorrow is my birthday.
Get out.
Happy birthday.
Wow, happy birthday. How old do you want to be?
I'm 40, gonna be 43.
Wow.
Get out of town.
I know. A lot of people are, wow, what? No, you're not.
We are going to sing happy birthday. No, we got another.
December 1st, is that?
Yep, yep,
Nice.
yep,
Really?
yep, December 1st, 1982. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Julie. Happy birthday to you.
25. Julie?
I was just gonna say, you know, we got this book, we got this letter, it'd be good for us to read it through this week and maybe take some notes on it, so we can share that with Pastor when we meet again, you know? Need some more of the word, take some more word into ourselves with it. Because he has so much in there to lift us up that it's worth really reading.
I have a lot, and I'm hoping, against hope, that I'm coming across okay with it, all right? So I'm trying to work on that to keep my different word processors going at the same time, so. Okay. I'm gonna have spaghetti and mushrooms later.
I didn't put that in my sauce this morning.
Did you?
I didn't. I didn't have any mushrooms. I used everything in the refrigerator and made a sauce. Somebody gave me some venison last week, so I made venison meatballs. Chopped up a lot of garlic and put it in there
Oh
too.
dear.
It's in the crock pot, it'll cook down.
Pastor Dave could not get near you then.
Oh, it's okay, once it's cooked, it's okay.
Once it's cooked,
Okay.
It depends on how much it
How much
is
is in it?
and how much it, yeah. It
Yeah.
cooks down pretty good, and you can put some in it, and I'm still okay with it.
You Irish, you don't understand.
I got a little venison that's just perfect, just enough.
I don't
You
think
weren't
it has
even
anything
trying
to do
to
with
be
the
funny.
Not, there's never too much
You said
garlic
you
if
put
it's
a lot
cooking
of
in the
garlic,
crock pot
That's
for
what I
5 or
said.
six hours.
meatballs, and you said, oh dear.
There we go.
That's one of the
You
best
gotta
things
watch-
about our church, right?
You gotta watch-
Poor dear.
watch both of them.
Yummy.
I didn't have any mushrooms to put in it though. That's the only
Should
thing
come to
else.
my house, I have something. Yeah, you have that. I almost had chili for breakfast and then I didn't have enough time, so I forgot to eat that. Anyway. Yes, number 543, good Christian men rejoice.